Hello, guys. This is Micah from edeneyetarot. I am here today to actually do a collective reading for Cancer season, since that's right around the corner. I hope that everyone has enjoyed their Gemini season. I personally, it's been a doozy for me personally. I think that's kind of what everyone is feeling, whether you've just been super busy or still coming off of the eclipse in Scorpio and still feeling all the feels while being busy, and you're just kind of like overwhelmed. Gemini season has definitely been active for sure. And I personally am, definitely feeling that. I am actually in the process of moving. And so this week has been chaotic to say the least. But I wanted to jump on here to do a collective reading for Cancer season. Since it just felt right to do a collective reading for Cancer season for the video this week. And so I've already pulled cards, and so this will be a bit of a shorter video, but a lovely video that I hope is helpful and insightful nonetheless. And so I pulled a card from the Major Arcana deck that I have, and a few tarot cards. And so we're going to go through those. I'm just kind of lining them up now so I can rattle through them. So the Major Arcana card that I actually got for Cancer season is going to be the Death card, which in this deck is called Student Loans. So the Death card is talking all about sacrifice. It's talking about if you want something, you might have to give something. It's saying that there is some sort of change coming, some sort of transformation that might have to come with some uncomfortability. It's kind of like, when we see, I don't know if anybody else is like a big Disney fan that's watching this, but it's kind of like Ursula when she's talking to Ariel in Little Mermaid, and it's like you can't get something for nothing. And it's very much that energy, the way I think of the Death card. And so when we're looking at this card, we're looking at some sort of transformation through having to shed maybe a certain aspect of ourselves, a certain situation that we're in, a certain relationship. Something is needing to be shed, to be severed, to be cut off, to kind of be able to birth us into this new phase of life that we're in. And that's really what the Death card is talking about. This is also Scorpio's card. So there can be a lot of emotions involved, a lot of uncovering certain feelings, being a bit more reflective on how you got to this situation and where you want to go from here. It's really talking about taking things apart, cutting things open, not being afraid to really dive into more uncomfortable topics. You can really feel the intensity, but I think something else that can really, be seen when we talk about the Death card and this being Scorpio's card is that brutal honesty that comes with the reflection of opening things up and being willing to almost exhume the bodies, so to speak, whether they be our personal skeletons that we're digging up, or being brave enough to face some of the things that we might be learning about a situation or about other people that are very close to us, that can possibly be very hurtful or just shocking or surprising. I think with this card in particular, it's really saying that there can be a lot of healing that can come just from that honesty, because from that honesty, we're able to really kind of clear things out, purge things out, so that we're able to kind of step into the new, or at least take the first steps to getting to where we want to go. And so the Death card, I think, is really bringing that in as well. It can also be talking about investing in something as well. Scorpio is a sign that is talking about merging finances, or merging bodies. So it can be a lot of sexual energy as well. Cancer season, which I think is so appropriate for Cancer season, because Cancer is the nurturer, the mother. It is I always refer to Cancer as the womb and the tomb. And so it can be, not just death, but it's asking, what are you willing to invest in something to make sure that certain dreams happen, or things, take root, or that, a certain path, it's well on its way, and you can get going on that path. What are you willing to invest? Are you willing to connect with other people? Are you willing to work with other people? Maybe are you a bit a bit passionate about, a bit too passionate to where you're kind of like, really trying to control things. That can be a lot of what this card is really talking about. It can be a card that's really focusing in on passion and, maybe wanting to work with others. But at the same time, it's also talking about like, I think you can get very zeroed in on your own energy, your own emotions, your own reflections, and to the point where it can almost be projected out to other people, which I think could definitely be a bit harmful as well, I guess, as I suppose helpful, because Scorpio is an energy that I perceive as, being able to really see all. It's able to easily see through things, and to see the honest truth of things. And so that is like the overall card of Cancer that we're seeing is the Death card. We also have the Daughter of Earth, which in this deck is going to actually be the Page of Pentacles. So a lot of you might be seeing some money coming in or some new financial opportunities or new support from other people. It's also talking about maybe investing in certain classes or taking on a new skill or investing in learning a new skill as well can come in. But I always think about with the Page of Pentacles, it's a lot about like, yes, you're given the opportunity, or the opportunity might be handed to you for new money or finances, but it's also really talking about maybe like the question of, do I take this? Is this the right thing for me in particular? Really the question is what I really get more so when I get the Page of Pentacles, when it does come up, more than anything. It's not just about the opportunity, it's more about the question and figuring out, is this for me or is it not? Should I pass up on this or should I not? Does this line up with my goals or does it not? The Page of Pentacles can also be about like acquiring new land, which is also very much a Cancer thing as well. Cancer can be real estate, and so it can be a lot of new signing new contracts or learning about how to acquire land or learning new gardening skills or maybe even focusing in on what kinds of foods you're nurturing your body with, since Cancer is nurture. But anytime I think of Pentacles, I also think about the physical body and like, our senses, and how are we taking care of that physical body. And so that's what I think of as well. We have the Ace of Swords, which in this deck is the Ace of Air. And so it's all about communication. It can also be about like, where are you going? Where are you moving? It can be about what are you thinking as well. So I want to say that the Ace of Swords can be about one, getting new information, because we also have the Ace of Cups that's coming up as well. So it can be definitely new relationships are being formed in Cancer season that are really helping you to take a turn into a new path in your life or a new direction. Maybe you've been thinking about it before and trying to like kind of make the corrections or make the connections even. In Gemini season not transferring, but kind of like, pruning and adding certain things. And in Cancer season, because Cancer is a cardinal sign, it's all about action now. And so all the work that you put in Gemini season, you're starting to see show up as either, maybe new beliefs in yourself. That could be a way that the Ace of Air and the Ace of Water are coming up in this spread. It's like literally like things that you have either thought or said or spoken into existence are now coming in and nurturing the soul, and they're becoming real. They're manifesting. It can also be talking about the more invisible powers of manifesting, not just like, what are you doing, as far as like physically working to make these things happen. It's reminding you that your words and your feelings and what you hold space for is extremely important, especially when it does come to other people. The Ace of Swords is all going to be about like, connection and socialization and thoughts and words. But the Ace of Cups is traditionally a card that's about relationships or new love. And it can also be about new creativity or intuition. And so it can be about following your intuition, not just following the logical mind, but following the, intuitive mind or maybe the emotional mind as well. It can be like new feelings are coming forward and you're more willing to talk about those feelings that you maybe have been having about someone or, in a relationship that you had for a long time with someone as well. because we do have the Six of Cups that came up. Which is a card about the past and maybe someone from the past coming back into your life. Right, 'tis the season. Cancer is, of course, ruled by the moon, which is all about memories or your past. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some of you do start to see some people pop up from your past and you having new conversations with them and maybe reigniting a relationship or, reigniting a friendship or, starting new projects together with people from your past or people that you've just known for a long time. But I think the big thing with all the cards that we have for Cancer season is it's saying, with this card in particular, saying, don't get stuck in the past. The picture of the relationship that, was formed when maybe you connected with this person or these people in the past, if you do have people that come back, that was them then. Hold space for who they are now. People can change. And I think that's a big, also a big way that the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords is also coming out with the Six of Cups as well. It's also talking about simplicity. Just kind of go with the flow, I think, is like the thing that comes to mind the most. And don't be afraid to just kind of go with things. Don't hold on to things so tightly, especially with that death card coming up for Cancer season. Now we also have the Hermit card, which is Virgo's card, which is talking about, maybe going inward or finding self-awareness. The Hermit card has been coming up a lot between Gemini season and Cancer season. So I'm not completely surprised to see it come up again, but I am at the same time. Some of you might be feeling a bit more in your feelings with Cancer season. I mean, again, 'tis the season, but we can also see like a lot of insights coming in, especially with the death card representing Cancer season, and the changes that are happening on a more internal level are therefore affecting the external environment and circumstance. It's literally you're creating magic, like the best of magic during Cancer season. The show Magicians comes to mind, like as I say that. I don't know if anybody's like watched that show, but I love that show. And hopefully, like if you have watched that, you get why I'm saying that. But okay, so anyway, then we also have the Nine of Cups, which is traditionally a card all about, wishes being fulfilled. But it's also Jupiter and Pisces card, so it's big emotions. It's big on isolation. It's big on imagination as well. So we've got a lot of dreamy energy. So I really be focusing in on dreams and what can you learn from dreams. What messages are coming through from your dreams. That's another way that I think the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Cups, and the Hermit card can really be coming up as well. Is a lot of messages and answers that you've been looking for might be coming up in dreams or coming from people in the past or coming from past actions that you've taken, if not from other people. And you'll find, I think, that the answer is much easier than you maybe made it out to be. I think a big warning in all the cards that we've gotten so far is to not overthink things. Sometimes the answer just is as easy as it seems. And, there is that warning, of course, to, take that time to reflect, but don't overcomplicate things. Be honest, but don't overcomplicate things. And have the discernment to know when something is Jupiter and Pisces can be very confusing, and it can lean on the side of like lying too, and not everything that you see is necessarily true, and not everything that you hear is necessarily true, and it's being able to have the discernment to kind of judge between the two. We also have the Eight of Swords, which is a card that's really talking about, being too much in your head, overthinking things. But it's also a card that says that power is literally in your hands. This is the Jupiter in Gemini card. Jupiter doesn't do super well in Gemini, so I think it's really interesting that we have a card that represents where Jupiter does not do well because it's in a Mercury ruled sign. And then we have the Nine of Cups. That's where that Jupiter does really well in astrologically. Jupiter is in a sign that it traditionally rules over. And so it can be maybe feeling a little bit out like a fish out of water, pun intended. But it can be, that struggle between air and water energy at the same time. And it's really focusing in on the words and thoughts that you're saying maybe are conflicting with how you feel. Do you always need physical proof for something? Do you always need things to be super logical? Do you always need something to make sense for it to be true? Magic doesn't always make sense. But I think the best magic comes from things that don't make sense. And I think that's the magic of Pisces, but it can also be a wonderful tool to be able to talk through those experiences with other people and to kind of like spread the magic, so to speak. Um, Finally, we have our last two cards, which are going to be the Empress. And then we also have the Queen of Swords, which I love these two together because these both just say like boss bitch, boss bitch energy. We could be seeing like a very strong like maternal figure or an entrepreneur that's really coming in with these cards. But honestly, I get mother the most because or like a mother figure or some sort of nurturing protection kind of energy when we're talking about Cancer season and the spread that we've pulled. Because the Empress is all of that abundance. It's literally, talking about the creativity, abundance. It's talking about, the resources that you have and being comfortable. But the Queen of Swords, she embodies that, but in a very different way. She's very much a person that sees things for what they are. And she has her high standards that she is not willing to, push aside for other people. And so it's being very honest about what you want and being willing to act on that and being willing to protect, that ideal or that standard or that, not being willing to put people up on a pedestal or, being willing to praise people so readily for like maybe the bare minimum that they're giving you. You're really standing up for yourself, I think, with the Empress and the Queen of Swords. It's not that the Queen of Swords does not want connection. It's just that she just won't accept just any old thing. And so that is going to be the collective reading for Cancer. I hope that it was helpful, you guys. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can check the link down below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.